And you're doing a commendable job.
Thank you.
I appreciate you coming to this channel, by the way. It's been fascinating so far. My next question is about mental health, or brain fuel, brain health. Any links between the oils consumed and brain health?
Huge links. I interviewed a gentleman, oh my goodness, I just blanked on his name. It'll come back to me. Amir Taha, who is a research scientist looking at omega-6 oils and brain health. And I asked him.
I listened to it. I'll put the link. It is on Tucker's YouTube channel. I'll put the link below.
Yeah. So I asked him at the end if somebody would give him $1 billion to do his dream research project, what would it be? And his answer was he wanted to show, he thought he could show that omega-6 fats cause Alzheimer's disease. And I think he's right. And one of the reasons why I think he's right is, you know, all the therapies for Alzheimer's disease, which have all failed, every single one of them, even the ones that are on the market, try and affect a protein called beta amyloid, right? Mm-hmm. And we won't get into what beta amyloid is, but if you want to cause beta amyloid, see, I'm an engineer, right? And what engineers like to do are poke things, right? This is why engineers often die from electrical shocks, because they're like, or from making things blow up, right? Because they've always got to push the system. Mm-hmm. So the immediate question is, what causes beta amyloid, right? Well, Harvard University published a paper a bunch of years ago that showed that if you inject HNE, the chemical that we mentioned that comes exclusively from omega-6 fats, into a rat's brain, it will cause beta amyloid to be produced, right? So the conclusion in that was that oxidative stress, which is a term they use that effectively means omega-6 fat toxicity, is upstream of beta amyloid production, right? Which would explain why the ApoE4 genotype is a precursor to, or rather predisposes you to Alzheimer's disease, because effectively what that's involved in is controlling the level of oxidative stress in your brain. And the common markers that they use in the medical literature for oxidative stress are oxidized omega-6 fats like HNE and MDA, right? So that pathway seems to exist in every single neurodegenerative disease, right? Amir Taha published another paper looking at omega-6 fat intake and IQ, and found that it relates to a lower IQ, including, if I remember correctly, in human children. I am interviewing next week a scientist called Tom Brenna, who has actually come out and said he thinks it's unethical to feed human children a high linoleic acid diet because of the negative effects on brain health. And he did an RCT recently with starving children in Africa, showing that a high linoleic acid food supplement that's intended to help them recover is highly damaging to their brains versus a low linoleic acid, high omega-3 alternative. So there are, I mean, I actually, years ago, before I ever got interested in fixing my diet, I read this newspaper article about an experiment in an English prison where they gave the prisoners fish oil supplements, and they discovered that it reduced their aggressive behavior. And that experiment has been replicated a couple of other times in prisons, right? And essentially, you know, if you're in prison, you're getting, I mean, according to the Weston Price Foundation, you're getting garbage food, which shouldn't be a surprise, right? But they found that that had a real impact on their health. And there's lots of papers looking at omega-3 fats and depression. Now, okay, omega-3 fats are different from omega-6 fats. Back to Dr. Brenna. Dr. Brenna was at one point the president of the International Society for the Study of Fatty Acids and Lipids, which is one of the premier international scientific organization studying the health effects of fats. Their official position is that there are two known ways to increase the omega-3 fats in the body. One is by omega-3 fat supplementation, and the other one is by restricting omega-6 fats, right? So if you want to increase omega-3 fats in your body, the first thing to do is to restrict your omega-6 fats. And it suggests, as you know, a researcher at the National Institute of Health years ago did a paper, an epidemiological paper, and they found that the level of homicides in different countries corresponded with the omega-6 intake, with a 20-fold difference between the highest and the lowest. So yeah, this is brain health. This is the absolute leading candidate for making your brain worse across every single neurodegenerative disease that I've looked at.
That's incredible data you gave there. There's so much to take.
Terrifying.